All right, let's do the ethanol emulsion test for lipids. Okay, so lipids, remember that includes fats and oil. Okay, so all you need for this test is ethanol and distilled water. All right, so once again, I'm gonna use two known liquids. The first is just distilled water, which obviously is free from any oil. And the other one, I'm just gonna use some vegetable oil. Now for this test, you don't want a lot of your sample, because the more oil there is, the more difficult it is for your ethanol to dissolve it. And if you don't add in sufficient ethanol, you might get a false positive. Okay, sorry, I mean false negative. All right, so that's what I have. So the first thing you do is adding ethanol. Okay, for the water, I'm gonna add in just equal volume. For the oil, okay, I'm gonna add in at least 1 cm cube. All right, then I give both a shake. And you can see that, okay, for both, now in my left hand, the one that with distilled water and ethanol is just completely clear, because the two liquids are completely miscible. In my right hand, while you might still see some oil droplets, particularly at the bottom, right, but mostly the oil has dissolved in the ethanol. So you can still describe this as a clear solution. Of course, you can add in more ethanol. There's no harm doing that. Right, to try to dissolve all the oil there is. Right, so this is why I said for this experiment, it's not a good idea to add too much sample if you suspect your sample contains quite a lot of lipids. All right, so now with this much ethanol, which is about 3 to 4 cm cube, okay, I still see a few oil droplets below, but mostly the body of this solution is quite clear. So this is clear. But this is not the final observation that you should write. Right, the next step is to add some water. All right, so what's the point of adding water? Now, if you do have dissolved oil droplets in your ethanol, the water is going to force that out once again to make you see this white emulsion. But if you don't have anything dissolved inside, the water is going to do nothing. Okay, so I will add some water to the left, which is just distilled water. And then to the right, same thing. Okay, you should add equal volume. Right? Then, okay, give it a bit of shake. Right, to make the mix. All right, so if it's not clear enough, please use a white tile as a background to check. Right, and you can see that in my left hand, it still stayed clear. Right, there is no cloudiness. But in my right hand, you see what we call a white emulsion. Please don't describe this as milky, cloudy, or chalky, or as this is what we call a white emulsion, which is basically the oil droplets coming out in very, very small, dispersed kind of form, right, so that they block some light and they appear kind of cloudy. So that is your ethanol emulsion test. Right, so once again, the negative observation, you would say solution remains clear, and positive observation, white emulsion formed. All right, so that's it for your ethanol emulsion test.